Many people believe that sexual life has an expiration date, past 50, perhaps 55, and suddenly, society seems to push us towards a place of silence, invisibility, as if pleasure were exclusive to youth. But the truth is far removed from this. What often lacks is information. The body matures, of course, but it doesn't cease to feel, desire, or respond. In fact, in many cases, it's only after a certain age that we discover the true meaning of intimacy. Maturity bestows upon us calmness, attention, experience, and presence. All of these elements can transform sexual relations into something more profound, more human, and more connected. However, for this to occur, one must take care of oneself. And we're not just talking about the physical body, but also the mind, emotions, and daily attitudes. The first secret is directly linked to how you move your body. It's no secret that regular physical activity is an ally to health, but when it comes to sexuality, it takes on another dimension. Practicing exercises, even a 30-minute walk every day, helps oxygenate the body, stimulate hormone production, and improve blood circulation. And as we know, good circulation is essential for sexual performance, for both men and women. Furthermore, moving your body is a way to reconnect with it. We begin to better understand our limits, our power, and the sensations that often go unnoticed. The second secret lies in how you nourish yourself. You've likely heard about the importance of natural, whole, nutrient-rich foods. But have you considered how a diet laden with sugar, saturated fats, and processed ingredients can directly impact your libido? Excess consumption of inflammatory foods disrupts sexual hormones and impairs the function of arteries and veins. Conversely, incorporating elements like avocado, nuts, salmon, ginger, and leafy greens into your meals can be a powerful boost for your sexual well-being. We're not talking about magical recipes, but rather a more mindful eating pattern, one that prioritizes the pleasure of living well, with energy, clarity, and vitality. Another point often overlooked is the impact of sleep quality on sexual performance. This is the third secret. Chronic poor sleep affects testosterone production, increases stress and irritability, and keeps the body in a constant state of alert. It's not difficult to understand why this can kill the mood. Sexual desire does not flourish in a tired body and an overtaxed mind. Establishing a bedtime ritual with less screen time, more reading, calming music, or even a warm bath can significantly help restore the body's natural equilibrium. Now, let's discuss the fourth habit, perhaps one of the most overlooked: daily touch. We aren't talking about sex directly, but rather about tenderness. Embrace more, touch, give a massage, share a lingering kiss, walk hand in hand. This constant touch keeps the connection alive, strengthens bonds, and stimulates the release of oxytocin, the so-called love hormone. Couples who maintain this type of physical closeness outside the bedroom tend to experience greater pleasure within it. After all, sex doesn't begin in the bedroom. It begins in the everyday attitude, in the gesture that communicates presence, desire, and care. We arrive at the fifth habit, and here's the surprise for many. One of the greatest secrets to maintaining an active sex life after 55 is to keep the mind curious and creative. Indeed, sexuality is deeply intertwined with the brain. When we allow ourselves to learn something new, explore a hobby, immerse ourselves in an inspiring book, or discover novel sources of pleasure, the brain rejuvenates. And this directly influences libido. Routine, monotony, and a lack of intellectual stimulation stifle desire, while curiosity reawakens the senses. Creative individuals tend to connect more deeply with their partner, to propose novelties, and to surrender more fully to the experience of touch, presence, and the moment. Another point that cannot be overlooked is the importance of breathing. Yes, the way you breathe can actually affect your sexual performance. The sixth habit is simple yet powerful. Breathe consciously. Deep breathing helps control anxiety, prolong pleasure, and keeps you focused on sensations. During sexual activity, many people hold their breath or take shallow breaths, which hinders relaxation and surrender. Practicing diaphragmatic breathing, for instance, is a way to reconnect with your own body and experience the moment with greater intensity. Here's the seventh habit: learning to speak about sex without shame. Most people grew up in environments where sexuality was taboo. This has resulted in decades of silence, repression, and guilt. But today, after 55, it's time for liberation. Talking with loved ones about what you desire, what brings pleasure, and what isn't working is an act of courage and intimacy. It's also worthwhile to converse with healthcare professionals, therapists, doctors, or even support groups. Information empowers, liberates, and transforms. No one needs to live their sexuality alone or in secrecy. And yes, speaking about it helps, significantly, to enhance performance and satisfaction. Before we move on to the final habits, let me ask you something special. If this content is helping you to view your sex life with more tenderness, lightness, and hope, please subscribe to the channel now. And tell me in the comments, which of these habits surprised you the most so far? Which one do you feel you need to implement with more urgency in your life? Share your thoughts in your own words, however you feel comfortable. We read everything with great respect. And who knows, maybe your story or your question will become a new video here. This is more than just a channel. It's a space of care for those who are embracing maturity with courage and joy. Shall we embark on this journey together? Let's delve into the 8th and final habit, perhaps the most crucial of all. Acknowledge and embrace your transformations. The body at 58 is not the same as at 28. Responses, rhythms, and stimuli evolve, but this doesn't signify decline. It denotes metamorphosis. When you welcome these changes with affection, rather than criticism, sex becomes more liberated. There's no longer the pressure of youthful performance, but rather the opportunity to savor each moment with presence and authenticity. It's a different kind of pleasure, more mature, more complete, more genuine. By embracing the transformations of the body, one opens the door to the reinvention of sexual life. This may involve exploring new rhythms, positions, using lubricants, toys, intimate cosmetics, or even therapies. Anything that brings comfort and pleasure, safely and with respect, is welcomed. Sexuality is a vast and diverse territory. Each couple, each individual, can explore it in their own way, with their own identity, with their own desires. What matters is keeping the channel of pleasure open, and it begins with self-acceptance. Another crucial aspect is staying aware of medical issues. Many sexual problems after the age of 55 can have a physical root, ranging from diabetes and hypertension to side effects from medications or thyroid disorders. Don't hesitate to seek professional guidance. A general practitioner, urologist, gynecologist, or even a sex therapist can assist in identifying and addressing the underlying causes, rather than merely treating symptoms. Preserving sexual health is integral to overall well-being. By maintaining this focused attention on overall well-being, you begin to understand that sex is not isolated from the rest of life. It's a direct reflection of how you care for yourself, what you consume, how you sleep, how you move, and how you relate to others. Simple habits like drinking more water, reducing the intake of ultra-processed foods, doing stretches upon waking, and dedicating 5 minutes each day to deep breathing create a subtle chain reaction of well-being. It's like a positive domino effect. Energy increases, vitality returns, the mind sharpens, and the body responds better in every way, including in the bedroom. Another important point to consider is sexual autonomy. Many people, particularly men, tend to equate sexual performance solely with penetration. This is a limiting view. Human sexuality is rich, nuanced, and full of possibilities. Exploring new ways to give and receive pleasure, with or without penetration, with or without full erection, with or without achieving orgasm, is a liberating step. Many women also experience discomfort due to lack of lubrication or hormonal changes, but with information and communication, these issues can be reframed. There is a fulfilling sex life even with limitations. In fact, there is even greater self-love when you realize that pleasure does not lie in meeting external expectations, but in embracing what feels good for you. Speaking of expectations, it's impossible to ignore the social pressure surrounding performance. Many people over 55 feel insecure because they believe they need to deliver, as if they were in their 20s. But this pressure destroys spontaneity. Sex should be a place of lightness, not obligation. A safe environment, free from judgment, where there's room to laugh, make mistakes, try again, and discuss what happened is essential. This is built over time, through partnership and vulnerability. Maturity brings this very advantage. We learn that the best things in life are lived authentically. Another crucial aspect is spirituality. Not necessarily in the religious sense, but in the sense of presence. Being with another person wholeheartedly, respecting boundaries, exchanging energy, sharing intentions and affection. Sexuality, when lived with respect and connection, is a portal to a more fulfilling life. Many people rediscover pleasure in this stage of life precisely because they begin to view intimacy as a sacred space. A moment where time slows down, senses intensify, and the body becomes an instrument of affection and celebration. And here we reach the most beautiful aspect of all this. Mature sexuality is a form of resistance and liberation. In a world that relentlessly associates pleasure with youth, being a person of 57, 60, or 70 years old who still feels desire, who loves themselves, who touches themselves, who yearns and is yearned for, is revolutionary. It demonstrates that time does not diminish what is essential, that the body changes but does not lose its value, that pleasure transforms but does not vanish. On the contrary, it deepens. It becomes richer. It becomes more authentic, because it is accompanied by history, by lived experience, by conscious choices. That's why this video is more than just a list of tips. It's an invitation to look at yourself with more tenderness, to allow yourself to live everything you may have let lie dormant out of shame, fear, or lack of information. It's a call to rebuild your self-esteem, to engage in difficult conversations with grace, to explore new paths with joy. It's a reminder that your intimate life remains an integral part of your right to live fully. If you have someone by your side, how wonderful. This path can be shared. If you find yourself alone, there is no need for concern. Pleasure can also be an individual experience, and self-care is a vital element of this journey. The most crucial aspect is that you understand this all begins with you, with the way you look at yourself in the mirror, with the time you dedicate to yourself, with the touch you offer your own body, with the words you choose to use regarding your sexual experiences. If those words are laced with judgment, fear, or guilt, pleasure will retreat into hiding. But if they are imbued with respect, affection, and acceptance, pleasure will return, approaching with tenderness, and it will stay. Therefore, if this video resonated with your soul, if it helped you remember that you still deserve to live with joy, I make one final request. Subscribe to the channel now. Not because you have to, but because we want to continue this conversation with you. Here, we do not judge, we do not confine, we do not trivialize. Here, we share. We share stories, doubts, insights, and above all, humanity. And take advantage of this. Share your thoughts on the video in the comments below. Which part moved you the most, inspired you, or gave you a new perspective? Have you ever lived through a similar experience? Have you ever felt insecure about your age and managed to overcome it in some way? Share your story with us. This community